welcome to my channel. This is Scary Stories from the City. I grew up in a big city and my parents had a 3-bedroom apartment. The 3rd bedroom was for guests. For years, it just sat empty until my cousin Maria came to visit. She was staying over from a neighboring state. She hadn't seen my new place yet, so the day after she arrived, we decided to show her around. We went to the mall, then stopped by my favorite coffee shop. It was on the corner and the windows wrapped around the building, so as we sipped our drinks, we could watch the street, people, cars, dogs, the occasional fight. It was interesting. That's when we saw this guy. He was lanky and tall and he was staring at us. Specifically, he was staring at Maria. I remember because she laughed and said, "Hey, look at that weirdo." Then he looked away and I assumed he was just a creep. But a few hours later, when we got back to the apartment, Maria looked pale and didn't want to talk. I asked what was wrong and she whispered, "I don't want to stay in that room." I was confused. "Why not?" I asked, and she told me that every time she looked in the mirror, she saw that guy standing behind her. I thought it was funny and told her to get over it, but then she started crying and I backed off. Later that night, Maria called my mum in a panic. She said she needed to leave, that she couldn't stay another minute. My mum, being the gracious host that she is, drove Maria back to her hotel. The next day, Maria left, and we never heard from her again. A few months later, my friend and I were hanging out in the apartment, and we were watching TV in the guest room. The set didn't pick up a good signal, but it was the only room where I could get a decent internet connection, so we spent a lot of time there. That's when I first noticed the mirror. It was nothing special, just an old mirror with an ornate gold frame. I stared at my reflection for a while, thinking about how ugly I looked without makeup. Then I turned to change the channel, and I caught my breath. In the reflection, behind me stood a tall, shadowy figure. I spun around, but there was nothing there. The reflection remained. It smiled. I screamed and scrambled away, hiding under the blankets. When I finally emerged, the smiling figure was gone. I haven't entered that room since. The mirror's covered now, but sometimes I hear scratching coming from beneath the cloth.